Hi all, and welcome to today's Daily Dose. Can you remember being a kid and having your parents or maybe your teachers remind you to fuel your body? Maybe you were acting a little cranky and your mom would say, just eat a peanut butter and jelly sandwich so you can get some protein. Or I can remember back in my day, there was a really big push to get kids to drink milk in school because as the campaign went, it does a body good. So I can remember teachers encouraging all of us to have one, maybe two, maybe more cartons of milk with our lunch in the cafeteria each day because milk, they told us, fuels you so much better than something like Coca-Cola, which ultimately leaves your stomach feeling empty. When you're a kid, the adults in your life remind you often to make sure your body is fueled up. And of course, as you get older, we also care about fueling our bodies. But what about also remembering to fuel our souls or keeping our spiritual lives filled up? Because just like getting enough rest or enough me time or tending to our own health, tending to our spiritual lives is also really important. So today I want to talk with you about keeping your spiritual care topped off, so to speak. Making sure that the care that you do for yourself spiritually is something that not only fills you up at that very moment, but also sustains you. In the Bible, in the book of Matthew, chapter 11, Jesus has been instructing his 12 disciples. But then the Bible goes on to tell us he goes on and he teaches and he proclaims his message in the disciples' cities. And at one point, he praises John the Baptist, who was seen by the community as kind of a strange guy who went into the wilderness and preached these radically alternative things. And Jesus also responds to people in some cities who were really bound up by the words of the authorities, and they weren't listening to the messages of people like John or Jesus. And at the end of chapter 11, Jesus offers us a prayer, and he gives thanks to his Father, maybe as a reaction to those things, almost as if he's saying, a life of faith in God isn't as hard as you people are making it out to be. Following specific rules, obeying certain sacrifices, or following these certain rituals don't make someone somehow more faithful. Instead, he says this to us at the end in verse chapter 28. Come to me, all who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light. Now I want to pause for just a second to look at this image that Jesus uses of a yoke. See, a yoke in this context was a tool, an instrument. It was a crossbar with these U-shaped parts that would have in Jesus' day fit around the necks of a team of oxen. And it's hooked to a cart or a plow in order to make the farming process easier. Because one person using a hoe or some kind of rake to till up the land would have taken forever. A single ox pulling the plow would still be hard on that animal, but adding a yoke and a second ox lightened the task, made it more sustainable over time for both the farmer and for the oxen. So what does Jesus mean when he says, take my yoke upon you and learn from me? And when you do that, you will find rest in your souls. Well, I wonder if Jesus is reminding us that his way of life, it's more than simply doing X, Y, or Z to accomplish something on your own, only to move on to the next thing to accomplish, because that might not keep us spiritually renewed at all. And it's also more than just learning Jesus's ways or following his example, hoping that the more times we do things, the more they'll somehow stick with us. I wonder if Jesus is saying life is hard, but when you lean on me in everything that you do, in everything that you experience, whether that's good or bad, your load will be lightened. I really love that image in this passage of those two oxen walking side by side as it relates to this passage, because I picture Jesus walking alongside each of us, knowing that the path that we're walking through can be bumpy and can be rocky. Sometimes behind us we leave humongous holes, but other times we leave some really lovely soil that's tilled up and ready to have a huge garden bust out of it. But regardless of what we leave behind us, Jesus is that yoke, walking with us and allowing us to find rest and renewal that truly sustains us. Thanks so much for watching the Daily Dose today. If you're watching this on Facebook, we'd love for you to like it and share it with someone else. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube so you can stay up to date with everything that Calvary puts out there, messages and daily doses alike. Thanks so much.